What's going on YouTube? Today, BenQ has just released their Mobiuz EX3210U monitor. So this is a 4K 144 Hz 1 millisecond response rate monitor with 32 inches of screen real estate. So if there's any of you guys out there that's looking for a 32-inch 4K monitor, you know, that's game ready for your Xbox Series X or S, your PlayStation 5, or even a PC. But that PC has to have HDMI 2.1 for you to really get the benefits or the best benefits out of this monitor. So we're going to be going over all of the cool features of this monitor, you know, what makes it really great for gaming. And, you know, we're going to be testing it out with the PS5, the Xbox Series X, as well as, you know, a PC that's built for gaming. But before I jump right into that, I'll let you guys know right now that down in the description below and in the pinned comments, I've left a link that you guys can follow to go ahead and pick one of these up if you're interested in, you know, picking up one of these monitors. But you know what? Let's have some fun and see how well this monitor handles. Inside the box, you'll find manuals, 2 pieces for the desk stand, a 1.8 meter HDMI 2.1 cable, a 1.8 meter DisplayPort 1.4 cable, a USB 3.0 Type A to Type B cable, the 2 pieces that make up the power adapter, a remote control, an I/O back cover, and finally, the 32-inch 4K monitor. The setup process was toolless and quite straightforward. All you have to do is attach the 2 pieces for the desk stand together and then attach that to the back of the monitor. Make sure it clips in before letting go of the monitor. If you're going to be mounting it to the wall or a desk arm, then you obviously won't need to attach the desk stand. You'll be glad to know that it's got a 100 by 100 millimeter VESA mount compatibility. Once it's all set up, all that's left is to hook it up to power, connect an HDMI 2.1 compatible console or PC, and enjoy some high quality 4K gameplay. The monitor has a bit of a bulky frame and weighs 20.9 pounds, so whether that's heavy or not is up to you. It definitely has a very solid build quality, and you can tell the first time you pick it up. Other BenQ Mobiuz gaming monitors I've used in the past usually come with a silver backside, but this is my first BenQ monitor with an all-white backside, and I think it looks better this way, to be honest. There's also RGB lighting behind the monitor, which can be turned on and set up through the monitor's settings menu. The front side is all black, and the screen has some thin bezels around the top and side edges, which is less intrusive during gameplay. The stand of the monitor is sturdy and offers height adjustment up to 100mm. It's also got this cool Kensington anti-theft lock slot, but you'll need additional gear to use that. The inbuilt speakers are at the bottom on the front end and take up a bit more screen real estate than the other edges. There's also a speaker on the back side. The speaker system used by this monitor is BenQ's Trivolo True Sound Audio, with dual 2-watt integrated speakers and one 5-watt subwoofer. Honestly, it sounds great without the addition of any external speaker system.
See this plant over here? It's called South Brush. Come, gather its berries in your pouch.
There are multiple audio modes to pick from that produce different sound effects for different types of games or other use of the display.
I told you, gather the berry. Pay attention and gather the berries. Aloy, come now. Gather the berries. I told you. Gather the berries. Pay attention and gather the berries.
From an FPS mode that lets you hear enemy footsteps clearly to sports or racing game with clear sportscasting and overall more immersive sports sounds. The monitor is also supposed to feature 2 AI noise cancelling microphones in an array built into the front speakers of the monitor. This could be very useful for anyone who doesn't want to get a dedicated mic, or when you get tired of using your headphones like I do after long sessions. The AI smartly distinguishes human voices and filters out surrounding noises such as your keyboard clatters, mouse clicks, PC case fans, and other similar noises. I tried getting this mode to work using my PS5 and my PC. There's no instruction on how to use this feature in the manual, but I read online that you could enable the mic using a USB-C upstream cable. And I tried doing that, but no dice. Maybe I used the wrong cable or did it wrong, but I tried everything and still couldn't get them to turn on. If you find out how to do this, I'd really love to know down in the comment section below. The screen size is 31.5 inches, but approximated to 32 inches, which is great for gaming, especially at a desk. The screen can be swiveled right or left to a maximum of 15 degrees from the stand's axis. It can also be tilted forward to a maximum of 5 degrees and backward to 15 degrees maximum. It has a 4K 144 Hz refresh rate IPS display for ultra high definition and high frame rate gameplay. So if you want that super smooth, silky, buttery gameplay, 120 Hz, 144 Hz, even when you're, working with PC, then you should definitely consider this monitor. The monitor also has a 1 millisecond MPRT response rate, which is great for playing games with fast moving scenes like car racing games, sports games, or even first person shooters like Halo. The screen also supports HDR 600 with a max brightness of 600 nits, as well as 98% P3 and 99% Adobe RGB color space for more saturated and more accurate colors when gaming or working with creative applications like Photoshop. The IPS display has a 1000:1 contrast ratio, which means the black levels wouldn't be the greatest out there. A high contrast ratio basically means darker blacks, and a low contrast ratio such as 1000:1 on this monitor means brighter, more visible, somewhat gray blacks. If you're on the hunt for something with richer blacks and better saturation, I think an OLED display might be worth considering instead. Around back, there's some great connectivity options. There's one display port 1.4 input, two HDMI 2.1 inputs, one USB 3.0 Type B upstream input, 4 USB 3.0 Type A downstream inputs, one 3.5mm audio output for wired headphones, and the power adapters input. This means you can connect two consoles and a PC all at the same time to this monitor, and I mean without the use of an HDMI switcher. The bandwidth of its two HDMI 2.1 inputs are not 32 gigabits or 40 gigabits. They're true HDMI 2.1 with 48 gigabits, and that means you can play games at up to 4K at 144 Hz on PCs with graphics card compatible with HDMI 2.1 or DisplayPort 1.4. For consoles like the PS5 or Xbox Series X, that means you can play games at up to 4K at 120 Hz, not 144 Hz. The monitor comes with a nice and small remote control. With that, you can control volume, adjust screen brightness, quickly access the on-screen display or OSD settings, select audio mode, select what input you want to play on, enable and select the HDRI type, select the game mode, adjust scenario settings, power on and off the monitor. Some additional features of this monitor that can boost overall gameplay experience include HDR. And when I say HDR, I mean HDR 10 and HDR 600, which helps in expanding the contrast ratio to achieve more details across any image on the screen, especially since it's got a low contrast ratio. It also uses BenQ's HDRI proprietary technology to simulate HDR effect for standard content. There's Game HDRI and Cinema HDRI to choose from to enhance content that's already being displayed in HDR. Game HDRI retains more detail and offers truer game visuals. Cinema HDRI, on the other hand, helps in retaining the most natural colors. When a scene is too bright or too dark, that means overexposed, washed out images, or even major loss of details. Light Tuner and Black Equalizer are two great smart features that can help remedy that. They kick in automatically whenever their logic determines an adjustment needs to be made to overly bright or dark scenes. You can turn them off in the OSD if you prefer to display without any auto adjustments. Something to note about both is that they won't kick in if a scene doesn't call for correction, and only adjust scenes as much as needed to provide the best viewing experience for the user. Light Tuner has 20 levels of intensity to select from, and this determines how aggressive the smart feature will act when enabled. It essentially brightens up sections of the screen where details are hidden. This is great for exploratory titles that often contain dark scenes and hidden items like Horizon. Black Equalizer, on the other hand, reclaims details from areas of the screen that are meant to be dark but turn out to be too dark after rendering. It's somewhat opposite to Light Tuner, but the end result of either one is the same. Light Tuner reclaims details that are lost in bright areas, while Black Equalizer does the same, but for dark areas. The default monitor settings for color might not work well for every game, and here's where the color vibrance feature comes into play on this monitor. Color vibrance creates 20 color intensity levels for you to choose from. The feature is easily accessible through the on-screen settings, and I'd say it's useful for anyone who wants more control over the color intensity of different games. Some games might lack color depth and look washed out right out of the box, but with color vibrance, that can certainly be rectified. Another useful gaming feature is AMD's FreeSync Premium Pro for syncing this monitor's frame rates with the frame rate of the graphics card in your PC or console to avoid issues like screen tearing. You'll need an AMD GPU to exploit this feature, so FreeSync Premium works with the PS5 and Xbox Series X since they both use AMD GPUs. It doesn't officially support Nvidia's G-Sync, so you probably won't get premium G-Sync features if you have an Nvidia GPU inside your PC like I do, but it'll provide some basic screen tear prevention, at least if you turn on the G-Sync feature in Nvidia's control center. You can also pick between 3 game modes for the most common gaming scenarios. These apply settings to enhance both your audio and video for those scenarios. FPS is great for first-person shooters, RPG for role-playing games, and SPG or racing game mode for sports and racing games. Scenario mapping is another really cool feature of this monitor that I'm really loving so far. It allows you to set up to 3 presets to quickly switch between when gaming. You need to have this feature turned on before you can use it. You can quickly access each preset using a button on the remote control. You can also set up different game, standard, and cinema mode presets for each HDMI input and the single DisplayPort input. Due to how much time we spend in front of a screen, eye care technology is important now more than ever. This monitor features some great eye care technology like flicker-free backlighting, low blue lights to reduce the amount of harmful blue light coming from the screen, e-paper mode for a simulated ebook mode that provides clear black and white reading layout for a comfortable reading experience, color weakness mode technology that uses red and green filters to help people who suffer from most common type of color blindness, and finally brightness intelligence plus technology that adjusts the display's brightness and color temperature for the most comfortable viewing experience. There you have it, guys. That's really all there is to say about the EX3210U monitor from BenQ. In summary, this monitor has some pretty awesome features for gaming, but it does lack in the contrast ratio at 1000:1, but that's very much expected with IPS panels. And there are lots of features within the monitor, that help improve on that. The biggest thing for me with this monitor is the amount of customization available for different gameplay scenarios. If you enjoyed the video or found it useful, go ahead and spam the like button for me below. And if you're interested in finding out more about this monitor or checking prices on it, make sure to use the link in the description and pinned comment below. It was a pleasure making this video for you guys, and I want to give a shout out to BenQ for providing the monitor for testing. Thank you guys for watching. I will see you guys in my next video. It's Midas, and I'm out, y'all.